Most people think power comes from talking more, explaining more, reacting faster. In reality, the most dangerous people do the opposite. They watch, they wait, and when the world expects a reaction, they give nothing. No explanation, no defense, just silence. This is the dark psychology of Machiavellian ignoring, the ability to control a situation by refusing to play the emotional game. In this video, you will learn 7 Machiavellian ignore tactics that make you unreadable, untouchable, and very difficult to manipulate. Use them to protect yourself, not to abuse others. Because once you understand these tactics, you will start seeing them everywhere. In toxic relationships, in offices, and in the quiet moves of people who always seem to win.
The first Machiavellian ignore tactic is weaponized apathy. Apathy here doesn't mean you don't care about anything. It means you refuse to show how much you care. Manipulative people feed on reactions: anger, tears, over-explaining, defending yourself. Every reaction gives them data. They learn your weak spots. When you practice weaponized apathy, you respond like the quiet noble at the end of the table. You listen, but you don't flinch. You don't rush to correct lies. You don't beg to be understood. You don't dump your emotions on the table. Psychologically, this starves the manipulator. Their brain is waiting for a dopamine hit from your reaction, and when it doesn't come, they feel frustrated, confused, even threatened by your calm. You become harder to predict, harder to control, and much, much harder to break.
The second tactic is black box silence. A black box is an object that takes input but doesn't reveal what is happening inside your mind. Emotionally, you become that box. People can speak, complain, insult, gossip, try to provoke you, but they never truly know what is happening inside your mind. You don't rush to clear your name in every rumor. You don't publicly fight every accusation. You don't explain your decisions to everyone who demands an explanation. This doesn't mean you accept disrespect. It means you choose your battles, and most of them are not worth your energy. Machiavellian psychology understands that mystery is leverage. When people can't read you, they start projecting their own fears and insecurities onto you. Some will fear you. Some will respect you. The important part is, you're not dancing for their approval anymore.
The third tactic is dopamine denial. Most toxic relationships run on a cycle of reward and withdrawal. Love, attention, validation, then coldness, distance, punishment. Manipulators use this to train you like an experiment rat. You keep chasing the next small reward. Machiavellian ignoring flips this dynamic. You stop rewarding bad behavior. No more attention when they insult you as a joke. No more chasing after someone who ghosts you and then returns when they're bored. In practical terms, this means you don't reply instantly to emotional bait. You don't reassure someone who repeatedly disrespects your boundaries. You don't give validation to someone who only appears when they need something. You calmly remove the dopamine. Not loudly, not dramatically, just consistently. Over time, they either adjust their behavior or their manipulation stops working on you, and they move on to someone easier to control.
The fourth Machiavellian ignore tactic is frame lockdown. In psychology, a frame is the invisible story that defines a situation. For example, I must defend myself right now, or they'll think I'm guilty. That's one frame. Another frame is their opinion doesn't define my reality. Manipulators try to drag you into their frame. They accuse you, twist your words, or create public drama so you feel forced to react. Frame lockdown is when you refuse that invitation. You don't accept the role they're giving you. Villain, victim, fool. You keep your own frame. I know who I am. I know what I did. I don't need to perform for this crowd. Notice, Machiavellian ignoring is not cowardice.
It is choosing where and when you will respond, and on what terms. Most battles are lost the moment you accept someone else's frame. When you lock down your own, their game collapses. The fifth tactic is the Judas fade. Not every person in your circle deserves confrontation. Some only deserve distance. The Judas fade is how you deal with subtle backstabbers, jealous friends, and covert haters. They smile in your face, criticize you behind your back, and secretly enjoy your failures. Instead of emotionally confronting them, explaining how much they hurt you, or begging for honesty, you simply fade. You share less information. You invite them less. You stop trusting them with your vulnerabilities. You treat them with basic politeness, but your inner circle closes. The power of this tactic is that you don't feed their drama addiction. There is no big fight for them to enjoy, no explosion they can use to make you look irrational. You just step back, quietly. And suddenly, they no longer have access to the parts of you they could use as weapons. The sixth Machiavellian ignore tactic is the chameleon vanish. In many environments, work, social groups, even family, people study your personality to figure out how to control you. At first, you can blend in like a chameleon. You listen more than you speak. You mirror lightly. You observe the alliances and hidden tensions. Then, once you see the real power structure, you quietly adjust your distance. You don't loudly announce who you dislike. You don't expose every opinion. You simply stop being easy to find and easy to read. Psychologically, this protects you from becoming a target. Manipulators like predictable people. The more predictable you are, the easier it is to push your buttons. By vanishing strategically, less availability, less oversharing, fewer emotional reactions, you become someone they cannot map completely. And what cannot be mapped cannot be fully controlled.
The seventh tactic is amoral withdrawal. We are trained to believe that staying, fighting, explaining, and sacrificing ourselves is always the good thing to do. Dark psychology recognizes a painful truth. Some situations are not meant to be fixed. They are meant to be left. Amoral withdrawal means you silently pull your energy, your time, and your emotional investment out of people and environments that are destroying you. You don't give a big speech. You don't send a long message explaining everything they did wrong. You simply stop feeding what is killing you. This can look like leaving a job that runs on manipulation and fear, ending a relationship where your boundaries are laughed at, walking away from family drama that repeats the same cycle for years. From the outside, this can look cold or selfish, but psychologically, it is an act of survival and self-respect. Machiavellian thinking asks a brutal question. Does this situation serve my long-term strategy or only my short-term guilt? If the answer is no, withdrawal without drama is often the most powerful move you can make.
Never reacting, never explaining, and learning to ignore strategically is not about becoming emotionless. It is about refusing to let your emotions be remote controlled by people who do not care about your well-being. The more you master these 7 Machiavellian ignore tactics, the less you will need to shout to be heard or fight to be respected.
Your silence will speak for you. Your absence will teach the lessons your words never could. Use these tools wisely. First, to protect your peace. Then to build a life where you no longer need to play dark games just to survive. If this opened your eyes, stay with me, because in the next videos, we'll go even deeper into dark psychology, manipulation, and how to defend your mind before anyone else learns to control it.